Hello, chat. How's it going? Are you having a nice day? I hope you're not, so that I can entertain you. If you're having a nice day, then you're going to think that my show is bad. It's like, well, what is this? But if we lower the standards of expectations a little bit. But all jokes aside, I think that today's show is going to be great because we actually have some really interesting things from Dragon Age. And it's pretty much validating everything that these evil right-wing grifters were talking about online. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the elections. 2 days from now, I think like half the internet is going to be absolutely ass mad about their side losing. I just hope it's not going to be the side that I support. But no, if you're an American and you want to go vote, right? But maybe it's too cold outside. Maybe you don't like the polls. Maybe no, whatever. I want you to close your eyes and just for a couple of seconds, imagine the smugness of the opposite side. Just like, okay, listen, right? Just close your eyes and imagine that it's 5 days from now and they finish counting in the swing states, right? Because those are the ones that I understand have difficulty. So like they finish counting in the swing states, and Kamala Harris is now president. And as you're closing your eyes, I want you to imagine the smugness of people on Twitter, the smugness of the Hollywood actors, the smugness of the politicians, the contempt and everything that comes with it. And then wonder, is it not better if you go vote, right? Just imagine. Yeah, like I wouldn't even say imagine dragons because like dragons are beautiful, depending on who draws them. But no, this would be even worse. This would be that like 2020 intensified by 10, right? So instead of MAGA, it should be make them cry again, 2024. Because someone is going to cry. Like, someone is definitely going to cry. There is no way. Like this has been so politicized. It has been so straining on people's emotions that there is absolutely no way that grown adults aren't going to cry after the next elections. So make sure that it's not you and it's the opposite side. We actually have a saying in Romania. It's better that his mother cries, right? So, like, this is usually in a self-defense situation, in a combat zone, right? Like, it's like, well, I don't want to shoot people, but it's better if his mother cries. Like, I don't want my mom to cry. It's better if his mother cries. Kind of the same. Does Romania need trust designers? I don't know what trust is, so, yeah. Trump took a bullet for you. At least you can do is vote for him. Off. Vote for Trump is a vote for Peanut the Squirrel. A lot of leftists still don't get the peanut thing. Like, it eludes them. And I tried explaining it in so many ways to the point where the only way I can simplify it even further is like, if it happened to him, it can happen to you, moron. This is why right-wingers care about peanut. If it's not about the squirrel, it's about the fact that they humiliated a man for 5 hours and using taxpayer money to do it, and there was no need for the humiliation. That's why people are upset. And if they humiliated him, they can humiliate you. It's kind of interesting, like the left freaks out over traffic stops. Like if you have a police officer stopping a criminal and they're resisting arrest, immediately they freak out. But you don't understand, it's like, okay, imagine if 3 government agencies, or 2, how many of them were, descend upon your home, break into your house, destroy your bathroom, kill your pets, terrorize your family. And it's legal. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, it's legal. They did nothing wrong. That's the problem that people are having. Are they wondering, well, why should it be legal? Why can't we change it? Why do we have to live like this? That is the whole thing with the squirrel. You're asking them how they would feel if they didn't eat breakfast. That is true. Yeah, I didn't think about it, that this may be a very complex and difficult question for them. Like, I may as well ask them, how did you feel about not eating breakfast this morning? Or did you change the batteries to the smoke alarm signal? Like, these are complex tasks that need to be first overcome before we can get into more difficult questions. So you're right. No, the thing with the squirrel, I will tell you, like, the guy did nothing wrong. right? Like the law shouldn't be existing in the first place. It shouldn't be applied like that. The purpose of the see, like this is how we do it in Eastern Europe. Every law has the spirit of the law, and then it has the letter of the law. And I noticed that a lot of like it's part of the Jewish religion actually. And I will give it as an example to obey the letter of the law. So the letter of the law means that okay, like every law when it's passed is going to be written down, right? That is the letter, what it says. But there is a spirit of the law. Like, why was the law passed? What was the purpose of the law to be passed? Like, what did the lawmaker try to accomplish by passing that law? That is the spirit, right? So, for instance, I know that Jewish people during celebrations, they do not touch electronics, right? So they have like various inventions. Like I have seen this on Twitter. Like a Jewish person can probably explain it better to me. But if you can't touch electronics and you have like a light bulb that's always on, and you basically like have this thing designed to cover the light bulb so now it's dark, and then you lift the covering and it's light. So you basically avoid touching the switch, right? So technically, like, you follow the letter of the law. You're not touching the electronic. You're not touching the device. Like, you are maintaining the letter of it. But you're not maintaining the spirit. The spirit, from my understanding, is to avoid doing stuff that takes you away from family and what's important. Like the purpose is to sit at home with your family and focus on them. Like, that is the spirit, right? Like, that is why the law was passed. So anyway, a lot of Westerners interpret the letter of the law, while Europeans interpret the spirit. So in the case of the squirrel, like, what is the spirit of the law? Well, the spirit of the law is so that people don't take dangerous animals into their house. Like, you don't take a tiger, you don't take a venomous snake, right? Because they are a danger, not just to yourself and your family, but to your neighbors as well. Like, I wouldn't like my neighbor to have a pet lion, and one day it escapes and it starts attacking people in the neighborhood, right? Like, that is now a problem of my safety. It's not like the pleasure of my neighbor because he has an exotic pet. No, it's the fact that, well, you're endangering me and my family because you want to have a lion in a neighborhood, right? So, like, that is the spirit of the law, to prevent that from happening, and also to prevent diseases from happening. Like, if you start growing a lot of squirrels, let's say you have like 100 or 1,000 squirrels in your backyard, well, they can spread diseases. Like, that again, is the same problem. You're now affecting me as the neighbor, right? Now, that is like the spirit. The letter of the law suggests that, well, in the case of you having even one squirrel, right, like, the lawmaker was retarded. Like, when he wrote that, he didn't account for the fact that, well, there may be a person out there that may have like one squirrel. That is not a health risk. That is not a hazard besides the person themselves. And at that point, you know, like, people should be allowed to do hazardous activities. Like, people should be allowed to extreme skateboard, to climb mountains, to do rock climbing, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, if people want to get a dose of adrenaline and it puts their life in danger, it's up to them. Right? Like, going rock climbing or cave diving. Going cave diving, like, there's absolutely no benefit to it. Like, you can go to the gym and work out. You don't have to go cave diving. It's very dangerous. It's very risky. People have died in absolutely horrible ways by cave diving. But we still allow it because, you know, some people want the adrenaline and some people want the fun, and they should be allowed to get that experience. Same with extreme sports, like doing, you know, all of the pro skater move that Tony Hawk does, like the flipping and shit. You can fall, you can injure yourself, you can break your spine, you can end up paralyzed. But again, we're not supposed to ban these extreme sports because adults should be allowed to assess certain dangers, certain risks to themselves, because that's what it means to be alive. So in the case of the squirrel, yeah, like, you can have a squirrel and it can get bitten and it can have rabies and it can kill you. Like, it's a small chance, but it can happen. But still, it should be up to the person to take the risk. If the person wants that, let them do it, right? As long as they're not endangering the community, as long as they're not endangering the entire neighborhood, there's no reason not to allow them. So this is like what the spirit of the law means. And if it happened in Eastern Europe, the lawmaker would be like, okay, well, he is breaking the law. He is having a squirrel. But, like, must we descend upon him with 2 government agencies? No. They would issue a citation. They would call him. They would talk to him. They would be like, okay, let's see if we can do something about it. You know, like basically they would be like, all right, we need you to take this squirrel to the vet. We need you to make sure that it doesn't have any diseases, any illnesses. We need you to keep it in a cage. We need you to do this and this and that. And then you get a license. And then you're allowed to keep it. And maybe give him a fine because he hasn't reported it in, right? Like, there was a lot of leeway. There would have been, like, a lot of ways that you can make this right without having to go into the man's house, terrorize his family, destroy his bathroom, and murder his pets. Dogs can pass rabies. You're allowed a dog. Dogs also bite the face of toddlers. It's interesting because I saw a lot of leftists that are absolutely vicious at the squirrel, but they defend the concept of a pit bull. I don't like pit bulls, chat. I dislike pit bulls. I hate them. I can't. Do you know what the final pit bull solution would be? Like, I have a solution for the pit bull question. All you have to do is to force the breeders to breed them out. That's it. Like, you don't take anyone's pit bull. Like, let them have pit bull if that's what they want. But you go to the breeders of pit bull and you force them. It's like, okay, from now on, you're not allowed to breed pit bulls unless you're breeding something else in. So, like, force them to breed pit bulls with, I don't know, terriers or some shit. And you're going to have this mutt. And that's it. You don't need a pit bull. I'm like the Democrats. Like, why do you need a full semi-automatic assault rifle, ghost weapon of war? Huh? And no one can tell me, like, why this would be a bad thing. Like, pit bulls are a human creation. We actually trained the pit bull. Like, the breed pit bull is not something that occurred naturally. We as humans created it. We as humans cannot make it. Trump or globalist, reptoid conspiracy wins. True. What are the demographics of pit bull owners? Dude, everywhere around the world, pit bulls seem to have a problem. Fun fact, in the Soviet Union, the Russians tried to show that genetics don't matter when it comes to behavior. So, in order to show this, they ran an experiment on foxes. You can look on Wikipedia. I think it's called the silver fox. I may be wrong. But anyway, they wanted to prove that the same shit, you know, like genetics don't matter and everything is learned and based. Everything is like social. Only the Nazis believe that genetics matter. So they took foxes from the wild, from Siberia. They took their foxes and they separated the foxes into 3 groups. The first group was foxes that were friendly to humans. The second group was foxes that were unfriendly to humans. So all the foxes that were unfriendly to humans, they let back out into the wild or they killed them, I don't know. But they only took the group that were somewhat friendly. And those were the group that they allowed to breed. And every generation they did the same. They would look at the new generation and see like which are the foxes that are friendly to humans and which are the foxes that are not friendly to humans. And they would only allow the ones that are friendly to humans to breed. Over the course of 5 or 6 generations, the Russians, which attempted to debunk the idea that genetics influence behavior, have managed to create the world's first domestic fox. This fox is very friendly to humans. It's kind of like a dog. It's not trained like a dog. Like, it doesn't know not to pee on the carpet and shit. Like, you basically have a fox that doesn't attack humans, that is very friendly around humans, but that's pretty much it. It's still a fox. Anyway, my point is, they then looked at why is this the case, right? Like, why is this fox more domestic to humans than the other? And the answer is in the hormones it's secreting. Apparently, like, the domestic one is a lot more broken than the one in the wild. Like, it's secreting different levels of cortisol, different levels of adrenaline, shit like that, right? So that's why. Now, you say that foxes are pretty much domesticated. It's true, but like basically these ones aren't skittish at all when it comes to humans. Like, they're kind of like dogs to the point where you can actually go pet and cuddle one, even if it never seen a human before. If pits are dangerous, so are German Shepherds, Mastiff, Dobermans. To be honest, they are. But for some reason, they are underrepresented in statistics. Like, the thing with the pit bull, it's very easy to explain, right? Like, another breed of dogs that are very aggressive, and this is just my personal opinion, like, I don't have, a doctor in a lab coat that has, but like, every single time I seen this breed of dog, they are some of the most aggressive and some of the most annoying dogs that I can think of, right? Like literally right after the pit bull, when it comes to aggression, is this shit. God, I hate it. The Pekingese, right? So this is a Pekingese dog. I have never seen one that's chill. I'm pretty sure, like, somewhere out there it exists. I'm pretty sure someone in the chat goes like, oh, I got a dog like this and it's good. Like, no, I'm sure. But from my personal experience, and I have met, like, at least 6 or 7 of them, they're all insanely aggressive. All of them. Even in the family, like, they would usually choose someone they like, and they would be an absolute twat to everyone else. But the thing is, like, if this thing wants to kill you, I'm pretty sure, like, it wants to rip your neck out, but it can't. It's small. Like, you can defend yourself from this thing, right? Like, it's not a problem. If it attacks a child, it's not going to be pleasant, but, like, it's a Pekingese, you know? Meanwhile, a fucking pit bull, like, it can damage an adult. Like, it can kill a person because it's a lot bigger. So, like, that, the size alone, like, to tell me, oh, genetics don't matter. Like, motherfucker, fuck off. Like, there is no way. Like, you can show me the most vicious Pekingese, and I will have no problem defending myself. But if you give me a pit bull that's even mildly aggressive, I'm going to shit my pants. It's like, come on. Fuck off with this shit, like genetics don't matter. In what fucking world? Obviously, training and you know, the way you socialize the dog and everything else, like, it matters as well. Like, it's not entirely genetics, but, like, to completely say that genetics don't matter, like, fuck off. Nah. What fucking world doesn't it matter? No, I wouldn't say because pit bulls are owned by certain types of people, because pit bulls exist in Europe as well. It's the same shit everywhere. Anyway, again, it may also be the way you grow the dog, but, like, take into account that just like humans, dogs can also be insane. Like, you have humans with mental issues, right? Like there are people on the street that just attack you for no reason. They exist. Not a lot, but they exist, right? Animals can be the same. Like, you can have a cat, you can have a dog that you're really nice to it, you always treat it well, but the cat is unhinged. Like, I experienced that. I had cats, which I know for sure they were never abused, they were never molested, they always had everything, and they would, like, allow you to pet them, and once they got, like, the demon inside them, they just attacked you for no fucking reason. So, like, dogs can be the same. Like, you can have a pit bull that also is chill, completely relaxed, and one day just goes insane for no reason. And take into account, like, this is also an important fact that needs to be mentioned. Dogs are predatory creatures. Like, they are designed to murder. Like, they form packs in order to hunt deers and shit. Like, it's literally what they do. It's like the type of animal that they are. They are predatory creatures. They're not creatures designed to be someone's pet. Oh, we make them pets, sure. But they come from wolves. Like, they are wild. They have descendants that are wild animals designed to kill and eat meat. And eat the flesh. So, like, when they see a child, some of them may actually have, like, this instinct that it's prey. I mean, a child is small, it runs around, right? Like, this is probably another reason why they don't attack adults. The moment you run around next to an animal that's a predatory, like, you're awakening its instincts. Ugh. The fact that I even need to explain this. Like, if you... yeah, same as cats. Like, if you have a cat, right? And you're chill with it and you pet it, like, most of the time the cat is chill as well. But if you go next to a cat and you move your hand in rapid motion, like whoosh, 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 your cat is going to think your hand is prey. Now, not all cats do it, right? Like, some cats may not react. Usually, it's also with age and wisdom. Like, the The older a cat is, the more wise it gets, and it starts understanding some things. Like, this is why a kitten just constantly attacks while a grown cat doesn't. So like there's a lot of complications and intricacies, right? But overall, a predatory is a predatory. You can't like completely take away the predatory instinct from it. Untrained dogs will attack anything small. Any dog will do this. Well, probably, yeah. I'm not surprised. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog, so I heard. No, I think it's both. German Shepherds are #1 in Europe when it comes to bites. Pit Bulls are quite low. Yeah, but it's also due to the fact... Oh, we need to add per capita here? Do we have to get the per capita? We need to use the per capita? Is that difficult? In Europe, Pit Bulls are very popular. Like, they're not a popular breed of dogs, right? German Shepherds are way more popular than Pit Bulls. So that's why. And take into account that police use German Shepherds as well in Europe. So I think, like, they count. Dogs are also pack animals, so it's natural to bond in families. True. Apparently, XQC betted on Kamala Harris 700,000. Ooh. It's a lot. They are predators on our side, V. We trade them to attack the intruders and not to the friends. That's the point. No, I get how it is. But, like, take into account that, again, you can have human beings that follow the law and human beings that don't, right? Like, dogs are no different. Like, you can tell a dog what's right from wrong, but at the end of the day, the dog decides. So even if, like, take into account, you can have a human being, right? Which is a lot smarter and more intelligent than a dog. And you can teach him right from wrong, and you can teach them how to behave in society, and they can still choose not to. Even though, like, you did your best, right? Like, why do you think dogs are the same? Since it was mentioned that BioWare developers are all hands on Mass Effect, I suspect we will get the same trashy dialogue as Velgard. People are already calling it mass genital defect or something like that. Anyway, I have absolutely no faith. Like it has gotten to the point where, you know, in the beginning, I had to actually play the game in order to realize that it's shit. Like, I had to play Dragon Age Inquisition, and I realized, and I think, like, that was, like, the first game. Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition. It's the first game that I'm playing, and I'm realizing, this game is bad. Like, I'm in the middle of it, and I just don't feel anything. And it's like, okay, this game is bad. So I had to actually play it. Like, I would buy the game, despite the fact that I saw the trailer, and I was like, yeah, but it's still Dragon Age, right? It can't be that bad. But no, it was. It was really bad. And then as I'm playing games, I'm starting to realize, you know what? I don't actually need to buy them. I can just look at the trailer. And it was getting to the point where I would see a trailer, like 10 seconds of a trailer, and I'm like, yeah, no, this game is shit. And 9 out of 10 times, yay and behold, I'm right. Now, it's gotten to the point, chat, that I'm even a level beyond that. I'm like Goku, like constantly trading. And I think I just managed to develop Ultra Instinct. I can tell a game is bad without even seeing the trailer now. Like, I don't even need to watch the trailer. The moment they announce it, like the moment they're just saying, oh, we're making Mass Effect 5, I know it's shit. It's not even like, it hasn't come out yet. How do you know it's shit? It wasn't even announced. How do you know it's shit? Like, I am able, chat, to predict future events at a level that the leftist brain probably doesn't even understand. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, dog. I don't even need the screenshot. I'm beyond the screenshot now. I'm like... So, no, like, I will tell you why I think Mass Effect 5 is going to be bad. I don't even need to see the logo. Like, just telling me Mass Effect 5 and I know it's shit. So how do I know? Well, who's making it? BioWare. Okay. Like, that's it. Did I miss your super chat, Nightmare? I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me see. No, I didn't, Nightmare. There is those. Oh. Pitbulls for Haitians. I think the Haitians will win, though. Anyway, let's look at BioWare, right? And analyze the writing that they have and the previous games that they made. So they made Dragon Age Veilguard, they made Dragon Age Inquisition, they made Anthem, and they made Mass Effect Andromeda. All four of these games are shit. The last good game that they made was Mass Effect 3. Like, let me check when Mass Effect 3 came out. And Mass Effect 3, despite the fact that the ending was shit, and people were starting to complain, saying that, well, it's not a BioWare, it's not worthy of the BioWare title. It was still a decent game. Like, it's something that I would replay. It's something that I would enjoy. So Mass Effect 3 was released in 2012, chat. So 2012, that's, let me check. 12 years, like more than a decade ago, right? So it took, like they haven't released a good game in a decade. Why are they still a prestigious company exactly? Like, how many fuck-ups do they need to give until I can say, yeah, they're not competent at making good games anymore? I don't think they can pull it off. So with that out of the way, I'm looking at their writers. Like let's assume, you know, they would actually allow for the Asari to look good, and, you know, the aesthetics would be there. And do you think they would be able to write a wholesome female character like Talizora? Do you think they would be able to write a Liara? Do you think they would be able to create an immersive game world? I don't think they can. I don't think they have the capability. Like, even if they fire their diversity officers and they're like just allowing people to create, it's like, I don't think they can make a fun game anymore. I don't think they even know what that is. I don't think they know how it looks like. Like, just so you can understand, when I was playing Mass Effect, one of my favorite things was to go into the Codex. And you go into the Codex, and they had this guy with a very seductive voice that was a narrator. Like, they actually hired a voice actor in order to go. It's like, the Asari are a race of all female characters that stem from the depths of the Citadel. They are the ones that discovered the Citadel first. And it was like so fucking amazing, you know, so immersive, right? And then you're looking at the secondary codex, and it's like things that they thought about and they just included in the game. Like, for instance, they talked about the extranet. And it's like, what the fuck is an extranet, right? And you realize, oh, so the internet is interplanetary. It's like the World Wide Web. And they're basically saying, okay, so like the internet is interplanetary. And then you have like the extranet, which is like an internet that connects planets together. And the bandwidth is shared with governments having the fastest access, followed by corporations, followed by regular users. And that was like so fucking cool, because it was like, oh my god, like they're looking at this level of lore and this level of polish, and it actually feels like a real world. Like, you feel immersed into that universe because they put so much effort to describe everything, right? And it makes you think about, like, yeah, you know, that would be actually cool. Like, imagine if we colonized the stars, right? So, like, Earth has its culture, and Mars would probably have a different culture. And let's say, like, someone develops a cool game on Mars. Like, how do you get it to Earth? And it's like, well, there's the extranet. So, like, they would have to ship the game from Mars to Earth. And then, like, people on Earth would be able to enjoy it. It's like world building, yeah. And it's, like, so fucking cool. And it's just, like, a small thing. Because, like, they would talk about ship battles. And they would say, well, yeah, but, like, the hull of a ship is incredibly durable, because when you travel at light speed, like, even a small pebble or even a small speck of dust would be like a bullet that would just penetrate the ship. So because of this, ships are made out of very durable material. And due to this, combat, like ship combat, is very difficult because it's very hard to penetrate the hull. And on top of that, ships can always just go at light speed, and they can avoid combat altogether. And the only time you get combat is when they're trying to defend the planet or when they're trying to defend a strategic objective. And it was like so fucking cool, right? Do you think they can write something like this again? Do you think like they can pause their gender garbage in order to actually focus on what matters? BioWare used to be good, but all the good people left around the time of Mass Effect 2 and 3. They're a shell. With the trademark owned by EA, BioWare no longer exists, just the name does. I actually agree with you. You know, like, there was a time when it's like, oh, it's a BioWare game. Oh, Dragon Age Inquisition came out. Oh, Mass Effect Andromeda came out. And you'd actually be like, oh, let's try it. Let's check it out. And then you check it out, and it's a piece of shit. It's garbage. Hey, V, I watched one of your videos from 4 years ago where you mentioned that your first game that you bought with your own money was Warcraft 3. That hit me with nostalgia because I had the exact same thing. Yeah, Warcraft 3 was an amazing game. So anyway, I want to show you something else. I made a video about it, and this seems to be going viral right now. I didn't intend it to, but like when I saw it, it validates everything that right-wing grifters allegedly were talking about on their channel, right? So here you have someone that actually plays the game. Like I love it when the left goes and they say, oh, you didn't even play the game. Like, the purpose of a boycott is for me not to play it. I can still get clips from the game. Like, I don't actually need to play the game to see what I'm seeing right here. I have streamers that play the game for me, right? Like, why the fuck would I give them $60? So that they can make another title? No, I don't want them to make another title. I want them to fire the people who made this, and then hopefully someone else can make another title. But if I support this, then they will make another title, and I will never get away from this crap. That's why I'm not buying it. I'm non-binary. Anyway, so look at this, right? You go into the codex, and there's an entry with the Lords of Fortune. And these are Trash's notes. And Trash is struggling with the identity, right? She's literally saying, writing notes to work through gender crap. This is in the game. This is literally in the game. And it reads like an HR struggle session. It reads like academic garbage. Like they're talking about a fantasy environment and they're adding modern day American academic literature in the codex of the game. But one of the things that's like, I mean, look at this, right? Not changing, affirming. You don't change you affirm. Academic nonsense, like literally from the academia. Like normally you'd have to get into student debt in order to have access to this high level of knowledge. But look at this, right? Like this is the one that made people realize, and now this is a controversy on Twitter, because they made people understand just how deeply misogynistic the writers are. Like we have reached a level of misogyny that even Andrew Tate himself, even the incels, aren't capable of reproducing. This is such rich and deep misogyny that only academic professors are capable of coming up with. Could feel uncomfortable with girls who act more feminine. And you gotta understand, this is what a lot of right-wingers were talking on their channel. This is what I'm talking, because a lot of people don't understand. Like, when I say that I want female characters to be feminine, and I want characters to have big tits, and I want characters to have big asses, like we used to have in 2016, and before that, like we used to have with Stellar Blade. I'm not saying that I want every single female character to be like that. I'm saying that they must exist. And the reason they don't exist is because the activists have convinced themselves that there are certain people who are trying to transition, and because they do not look the part, they feel uncomfortable with femininity. So this is why they remove femininity. This is why you get body type A, body type B. This is why you don't get women with big tits. Like, think about it. A woman having big tits is not sexualized just because she has big boobs. Like, she can dress normally, right? Like, you can still have a female character with big tits that just dresses normally. But they will never add that in because they say it makes them feel uncomfortable. It goes against inclusivity. They want to remove femininity. When you look at female characters in video games, all of them are suffering from toxic masculinity. There is no single female character that I can name which came out in a game after 2016 that is wholesome, that is motherly, that is nurturing, that is feminine. None of them are. All of them are like this girl boss, toxic masculine type of behavior. Like, if you play the last Tomb Raider that actually has Lara Croft as feminine was Tomb Raider Survivor. After that, if you take Lara Croft and you replace her with Leon Kennedy, the game is literally the same. You wouldn't notice any difference. Now, if you replace the first one with Leon Kennedy, you have guys flirting with you. That would be weird. Then you also have like a guy that tries to force himself on you. That would also be weird. This is what they are doing. And when you point it out, they call you a Gooner, right? Like, if you say that you don't like to see masculine female characters in your game, you don't like to see the masculine man jawlines, you don't like to see the Madam Apple, you don't like to see all the women having small tits because it's becoming noticeable. It pulls me out of the immersion because I started to understand why they're doing it, right? If you say that, they're calling you a Gooner. Now, I have gone on Nikkei servers and hentai servers, and I have lived among the Gooners. I have spoken with the Gooners. I have understood the Gooners. And from what I gathered, what most Gooners like is the waifu. Yes, they want the waifu with the big fat tits and the big ass. And why do they want her? They actually want to go out with her. They want to date her. They want to hang out with her. They want to marry her. They want to have a family with the waifu so that they can tell other men that they have not failed in life. That they have managed to get a woman to love them and they love them back and they feel successful. That's what every Gooner wants. That is the Gooner relationship with the waifu. But when you look at the relationship between trash and other women, it's like, I like girls. Girls smell good. Girls that are too feminine make me feel uncomfortable. I want to act like a girl. So basically, when you look at the Gooners, what they want, as I mentioned before, they want the waifu. What do people like the writers for Dragon Age want with women? They view them as an object to be studied, to act like them, to control them, to make sure that they don't act too feminine, to smell them, right? Like, girls smell good. It's an object to be smelled. And you start to wonder, like, who's the real misogynist here? I'm not advocating for gooning. I'm just saying, like, which one do the culture and society treat as a potential danger? Like, you got some lonely men that disconnect from reality and find escapism in fantasy, so they go after some cartoon women that they will never have. And they create fantasies around them, which, by the way, the only person that is getting harmed here is probably the men themselves, but, like, they're already harmed, right? Like, they're just, like, already giving up on even trying. So that's on one hand. And on the other hand, you have, like, these vindictive writers that seem to have an issue with feminine women. And the only thing that they view women as is, like, an object to study, to act like, to... It's... I don't even know what to say, chat. I genuinely, like, do not know what else to say. And this is, like, written by the writers, right? Like, this is not me coming up. This is literally in the game. Now, the interesting thing is that you can basically say, well, hold on, V, it's just a character in a video game, right? Like this is maybe they're just trying to make the character unlikable. I don't think that's what they're doing. I don't think they're trying to make Trash unlikable. Like if anything, she's actually supposed to be a likable character. And the writers have used her several times to lecture the player. I genuinely think that these are the writer's frustrations and the writer's personal views reflected through the character. Obviously, I can't prove intent, but like, anyone who plays the game can pretty much vouch what I'm saying, that this character is supposed to be likable. Like none of this is her trying to be bad or anything. And this is the same character that drops the line, no one likes being a woman. Like again, I don't think that I can go on any server filled with incels and find any that are capable of this level of misogyny, even if I paid them. They just don't know how. Bunch of arsons raid the man's house, murder his pets. They are lucky none of their mothers are crying that night. I don't think like people would because the thing is, like, if you start doing that, then you end up in a trial, like your entire life is upside down and destroyed. I don't think anyway, the artificial waifu is not mistaken for the real one. Yeah, like most people that like waifus, like people that like Nikkei and stuff, they're aware that it's a fantasy. They're aware that the waifu isn't real. They're aware that it's make-believe. They're aware that real women act differently. They're not trying to change society to get their perfect waifu, you know? Like anyone that plays Nikkei and likes Eleg, like, they're not trying to change the woman into an Eleg. They're not trying to find a real-life Eleg, you know? Like, they are aware that it's a fantasy, that it's make-believe. They're not trying to change the real world to fit their pleasures. I want to show you something else, which is even more disgusting. Like, unironically, this scene almost made me vomit. And this is really rare. I mean, I again, as someone that used to be a furry, for me to see something that is this disturbing, like, congratulations, writers. You've managed to accomplish, like, something that I personally didn't think it's possible. Because again, like, as a furry, you see a lot of shit, right? Like, you see a lot of disgusting and disturbing stuff. So, like, what can Dragon Age have possibly done to make me feel repulsed? Well, let's see.
Sounds like your mother was hard on you.
Nah.
I think your fingers are just perfect.
Yeah. So... Are you trying to have sex with me?
Hadn't really thought that far ahead, but maybe?
Quick, think about us having sex. So now we need to figure out if it's cash lock or Tom lock.
And those are...
Cash lock's just flirting. You look and make jokes and maybe think about him for fun. Tom lock is serious. Like you want to grab that and taste its neck right by the collarbone.
You know, like maybe this triggers me, because Baldur's Gate is the first game that raped me. You know, feminists used to talk about this all the fucking time. That they would say, "Oh, I got virtually raped," and I didn't understand what they meant. I was making fun of them, but I guess it took several years so that Californian developers can actually show it to me, and I'll be like, "Oh, so this is what they were talking about." Oh God, I'm so sorry. And they had, like, the druid, right? Like, I talked about the druid in Baldur's Gate 3. It's like, boyo, let's go and do manly things in the forest. It's like, no, druid, I have an elvish friend. Bring your lass as well, boyo. Press X to consent. Right? And now we see the opposite. Are you a pee-pee or are you a hoo-ha? We need to figure out what you are. Dude, there's no romance. There's no build-up. There's no sensuality. There's no femininity. How can you have two lesbians and not have a like any sort of femininity in the dialogue? How can you even mess this up? Like, there's no fucking way that if you got any developer worth their salt before 2016 and make them have a scene with two women, that you would actually end up making it the most disturbing shit that I have ever seen. This is even more disturbing than the druid. At least the druid didn't go at me like, ah! Are you a people or are you a hoo-ha? Which one are you, boy? God, fuck. It's like, just... Ugh. What the fuck did I see, chat? How do I get to watch this? How do I get to forget this? Like, there must be a way that you can forget. You know, like, I know that Alzheimer helps you forget. Maybe I'll get that, and like this should probably be the first thing that I want out of my mind. Yeah, the druid was a gentleman compared to like every single time that they managed to outdo themselves. Like, you think you see something bad, and at least that fucking druid asked for consent. This is like, quick, think you're having sex with me. Like, Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Remember, I did choose this job, yes. Spasm the R2 bot. Yeah, you know, like, if you would have actually made this into a roleplay game, you should allow the player the ability to attack. So you press the R2 button and you still attack, right? 2 hours of Tar Girl on loop will make you forget. I wonder if the Top Girl is at least more watchable, and the reason that is because I know the Top Girl is designed to shock. Like, the mindset behind the people that made the Top Girl is to create shocking content. The mindset of the people that made this is thinking that I would actually enjoy it. So I don't know which is more disturbing. Because if you think about the intent, this is like really fucked up. I gotta say something else. That is, like, this is the difference between furries and anime gooners. I have been both in the furry fandom. And I have gone around circles where people enjoy anime girls. And I have noticed that there is a distinct difference. Like, both are gooners. But it's kind of like I have become like a wine taster. I can differentiate amongst the gooning. You see, people who like anime, as I mentioned before, like, they usually have a waifu. They have like this character that they like from a popular anime. Like, let's say they like Mikasa. They like Mikasa from Attack on Titan, or they like Bulma from Dragon Ball, right? And they're fascinated with this character. Like, they buy dakimakuras of them. They have like wallpapers of this character. They're like obsessed with this particular character. And their fantasy, like, if they were to be isekai'd and meet this anime character, they would like to actually hang out with them. They would like to date them. They would like to marry them. That is like the mindset of the people that like anime. It's very right-wing if you think about it, and you put aside the degeneracy. Oh my fucking god! Oh, Jesus. Holy shit, it scared the living shit out of me. Fuck. Good god. Now, the furries are different. The furries are very different. You see, the furries, they have, like, they join communities. They join chat rooms. And they have these things called fursona. Right? So, like, every single furry pretends to be a wolf, a deer, or something like that. And they connect with each other with the purpose of yiffing. Which is basically like, imagine that someone is typing at a computer, like, Rogue the Bat pushes herself upon Sonic. And the other person who has the Sonic persona will say, Sonic moans in glee and pulls Rogue close. You know, like, that's yiffing. And they do this in order to get the orgasm, the sexual gratification. And that's it. It's like hookup culture. Like you yiff with one persona and then you move to another. Sometimes they do it like with 3 or 4 different times. This is furry shit. This is more akin to what the furry stuff is. It's the hookup culture. There's no romance, there's no passion, there's no build up, there's no sensuality, there's no purpose to it either than physical pleasure. You get the physical pleasure and that's it. And this is pretty much what Baldur's Gate did as well. Like once you do the sex in the relationship, that's it. There's no more to it. There's no more romance. There's no marrying. There's no, right? This is furriness. This is why a lot of people defending this shit on Twitter are furries. I'm not saying it's rogue or not. It's just an observation. No wonder Sonic fans are weird. Now I get how they are so similar to degeneracy. I see. Just seem like cheap jokes for laughs. If you want cheap jokes for a laugh, it's, as you said, like Witcher did it better. Like Witcher, you'd go around and you collected like those sex cards and that was the joke. Right? Like Witcher did it so good. Like I remember in Act 1, you find the miller's daughter, and the miller's daughter is alone at night. And she's afraid to go home because there's like spirit wolves that are attacking her. So your job is to escort her to safety. And if you do that, she basically gets boys seeing how you're battling the demonic entities and you're a hunk of a man. So like she asks you to date her the next day, to bring a bottle of wine over at the old miller's house or some shit. And if you do the quest, if you actually go to the tavern and you get an ale and you meet her the next night, you have sex with her, and people who are outside, they see like they hear the noises coming from within the house, and they think that the house may be haunted, and they get afraid. That was a joke in The Witcher, right? Because she's yelling like a banshee as Geralt is plowing her. And the guards outside are thinking that the house is haunted, that they need to call a witcher because there's a banshee inside. And that's how they did jokes, and it was funny. It's relatable. Like everyone laughs. Even women that were playing Witcher were laughing because it is hilarious. And it makes sense within the lore and the world. That's the problem I have with a lot of modern romance. The relationship builds to sex and nothing else. This is why a lot of people play Nikke. I swear to God. Because you gotta wonder. And I need to play like other gacha games. Because like I only have Nikke as an example. I don't play anything else. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. But the story you have with some of the companions and some of the Nikkes, like they actually build to something. Like there's a story with this chick. This one is my favorite actually. And this chick is like really fucked up. So now she's an anime trope, right? Like they're not doing like really deep and complex characters. But it's enough. Like it's enough in order to make you interested in what happens. Because it's such a horror story, but it's interesting because she's very hot. So the story starts that you as the player, you're injured. Like your leg is almost blown off. And you wake up in a bunker with this girl trying to take care of your wound. Like she's bandaging you, she's giving you food, she's nursing you back to health. And she tells you that outside of the bunker, it's very dangerous. Like there's still enemies around and you need to lay low with her. Now, you don't have any access to your communications, your phone is busted, you can't go outside, and you can barely move. So like for the first days, she's actually taking care of you, she's actually there, you know, she feeds you, she talks to you. But at one point, you gotta reunite with your squad, because in the game, you're a commander, and you're part of the military, so you're trying to reunite with the squad, and you're asking her, like, when can you actually do that? And she's like, well, not yet, you're not strong enough. Now, at one point, she actually leaves the bunker, and you realize that you're trapped. Like, she locked the door, There's a password at the entry. Like, she really doesn't want you to leave. You do try again, and you do break out, and you find out that there are no enemies, that she's just keeping you there locked in the bunker, and that your comrades are actually looking for you. But just as you're about to contact them, she appears, and she knocks you out. So you wake back into the bed, and you're in chains this time, like you're not allowed to leave. And she basically says that, no, you're not going to go anywhere because you belong to her now. And she acts like an actual wife. Like, she just wants to watch movies together with you. She's cooking you food. She doesn't want to have sex with you because she says she's not ready yet. Like, she never had sex before, and that's something that she wants it to be special. But she, like, flirts with you every now and then, and like, she's absolute batshit crazy. Anyway, eventually, like, your friends come, they save you. And you find out, like, her backstory is that she never actually had a family, and her dream was that she wanted to be a housewife, and she wanted to, go home and have a husband that is like when afternoon comes, like, she wanted to just do the house chores and take care of the kids and have a loving husband that comes home to. And that was her dream, and it was robbed by the alien invasion because she saw her parents getting killed and all that. So, like, this is what Baldur's Gate is competing with. Now, gacha games don't have the graphics and the gameplay, but this is the story in them. It's just like one story. Like, you have... Every single Nikkei has a different story and an interaction you can have with them. Some are good, some are bad. But, like, this is the roller coaster of emotions. And again, like, this is basic, bitch. This is just like some random anime trope. You know, you got a yandere. That's nice. But they're very immersive. Yeah, she is on Dora-chan's team, yeah. The game doesn't tell you whether or not to like her. Like, it even gives you choices, right? Like, you can actually like what she's doing to you, or you can hate it. Like, it actually allows you some role-playing, and based on the role-playing, you can get different outcomes. Like, you can actually like the fact that she's keeping you there, and you can actually like her. Or you can hate her, and you try to escape. Like, there's opportunity for role-playing there, so yeah. Again, this is like just one story. Like, there are so many stories, and not all of them are romantic. Like, there's this chick, part of what it's called the Geek Squad. See if I can find that. And this is like a comedy relief type of character. Like, you can't really romance her or anything like that. She's just like part of a comedic, like she's kind of like C-3PO, if you will. Like, she's the comedy relief. And her shtick is that she likes to install Doom on every single device she finds. And her motto is, if it has a screen, it can run Doom on it. And she just goes around and installs Doom on everything. And like, part of her thing is that she's a really good hacker. And she challenges like another hacker chick. And if she wins, she gets to install Doom on the main computer in the base. But if she loses, she has to uninstall Doom from everywhere. So it's written so well that you're actually curious if she's going to win or not. And it's like something like completely silly. Like, it doesn't really affect the main story or anything like that. But you actually want to see her successful, you know? It's like... And there's like a quest where you gotta go topside, which is infested by alien robots or shit, and you get lost. And what she does in order to drag attention that she's still alive, because like there's something that happens and you think she may have died. But the way she tells you that she's still alive, there's like this big screen in a destroyed city, and she powers up the screen and it has Doom on it. If the Nikkei girls have screen, can their hardwares run Doom? She actually does that. She installs Doom on another Nikkei's glasses. Last time I checked, Romanians could vote in the election, in the American election. Yeah, robots are called raptures, yeah. Like right now, the story, so just so you understand why people like this game so much, because like they do go in for the cooming, but then they realize that the world building and the actual story is beyond amazing. So right now, this is the event that's taking place. In order to become a Nikkei, like Nikkei are kind of like 2B from Nier. I mean, in fact, they even did a collab. They're pretty much similar to the androids. Like they're not human. That they're half robotic. They're like androids. So like they're 10 times stronger than humans. They can do stuff that humans can't, right? And in order to become a Nikkei, you take a girl, you kill her, you take her brain, you scramble it, and you put it into the body of a Nikkei. So basically, every single girl that volunteers to become a Nikkei is killed. And this is like a big part of the story. The universe is grimdark. And they do this in order to fight the robots, in order to protect humanity. Like, this is the only thing that they have left. And they try doing it with men, and for some reason, like, the body rejects... the mind rejects the body. It doesn't work with men. And it's also like, even with the girls, like, the percentage of Nikkeis that actually become like this is very small. So anyway, this is the Goddess Squad. And this is like the first group of Nikkeis that were created. And they were very effective at pushing the robots back for a while. And they were humanity's only hope. And after the Goddess Squad, they created this one, which is called Cinderella. And her entire passion was to become like the Goddess Squad. Like, she really wanted to meet the goddesses. And even after becoming a Nikkei, like she can't wait to get deployed. It's her and a couple of other friends of hers that all joined the program. And they want to be deployed. And one day they find out that she is actually going to be sent on a mission. And she's going to go with the goddesses. But just as that is announced, she gets corrupted. And she finds herself locked in a prison and gets to see what her body is doing. And her body is absolutely brutalizing her friends. Like, she just goes on a murderous rampage, cracks the jaw of another Nikkei, just murders everyone in the base, starts murdering all the humans, and she becomes humanity's greatest terror. So they send the goddesses after her, and this is the scene where they're basically fighting. And right now, like, as you play the game, you still find out what's happening in the story. So, this is like, again, this is a phone game. It's just a fucking gacha game. But it's a roller coaster of emotions. Like you actually give a shit. And like, because every day you get a little bit of the story. Like, you don't get all of it, so you're curious what happens the next day. And this is the type of event that they're doing. And meanwhile, the West is lecturing me about gender pronouns and doing push-ups, and it's not actually called transition, it's called affirming. Thank you for the gift, Manuel. The story isn't just sad, man. Like, the music itself and everything in it is just amazing. Hold on, let me see if I can find you the music for this event.
Twix.
Shush. Damn commercials. I gotta wait for the commercials to pass. So they spend all these resources into making custom music, custom mini games, and I don't know, like I'm just looking that everything that these games do are for the enjoyment of the customer. You even get like a survey that asks you, what else would you like what would you like to see in the future? What are the things you don't like about the game? You know, what can we do to make it more enjoyable for you? And then you look at AAA shit, and it's $120 per game, and the developers hate the living shit out of you. If you don't like their game, they tell you to fuck off, they block you, they mute you, they basically say that you either need to agree with their philosophy or not, and everything done in the game is not for your entertainment, it is to push their ideology down your throat. And it's like, it's getting to the point where phone gacha games are now becoming better than computer games. You need to contact Nikkei and get a sponsorship. You get advertising for them. I discovered it from you and it's awesome. I know, like, dude, I wouldn't recommend it if it wasn't. Yeah, imagine if Dragon Age did that. Like, this is what makes me sad. I'm not actually happy that this is the case. I don't like promoting phone games. I don't even like phone games. I wish that the AAA industry in the West would get their shit together and do whatever. Like phone games should never be able to rival a AAA game. It's not because like it shouldn't, because like the phone game can't be good. It's that with the amount of money and resources that a AAA has, and the fact that it's running on a computer with all of the hardware and with all of the power that a computer has, it shouldn't even be comparable. I am playing it on PC, yes. Imagine if some random Korean studio made Dragon Age. Would be so fucking funny if eventually Dragon Age get bought off by the Koreans. Anyway, right? That's it for today. I'm going to go work on my video game. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.